You're up in the middle of the night. The digital clock on the bedside table glows a merciless 3:17 a.m. And again, you find yourself here in this familiar, lonely place. You're in trouble in love. It started, as it often does, over dinner. The food on your plates grew cold as the conversation heated up. You had another one of those discussions. You tried so patiently, with the careful logic of a mathematician, to get them to see. You laid it out like a proof. Sometimes, because of that old wound, that particular fear you carry, you inevitably do why. It's not a choice, you pleaded. It's a reaction, a reflex. But they don't see a reflex. They only see the impact. They respond with Z. And that response, a mix of hurt and bewilderment, always feels like a judgment. It's always unpleasant. They countered, of course. At first, their voice was soft, reasonable. They try to be polite, explaining with a kind of pained precision that even though you think you're protecting yourself or setting a boundary, it lands on them as a rejection or a criticism. And that, they explained, is precisely why fear withdrawal, their sharp, tony eyes, so maddening to them. It feels like a necessary defense against an attack they never saw coming. For 2 hours, you were like diplomats from warring nations, each speaking a different language, but using the same words. Both of you tried, pretty valiantly, to get your points across with a veneer of calm and kindness. You watched yourself from a distance, observing two adults doing their best. You both managed to be more or less polite, keeping your voices from shouting. More or less restrained, hands gripping the edge of the table instead of gesticulating wildly. More or less grown up, swallowing the childish urge to just scream, but you're not listening. And when exhaustion finally outweighed the anger, you parted in an almost affectionate sad, fleeting truce, a quiet nod, and the unspoken agreement to sleep in different rooms. A chasm opened in the hallway between the master bedroom and the guest room. But it's not enough, and you know it. That politeness was just a lid on a boiling pot. That's why you're up at 3 a.m., listening to the rainfall tap a relentless, melancholic rhythm against the window pane. You're pursued by questions that echo in the deafening silence of the house. They spiral, one leading to the next, a vortex of self-doubt. What do you keep doing wrong in love? Is it a fatal flaw in your programming? Do you even belong together with this obviously very nice, very decent person who is, at this very moment, sleeping just one wall away? Why, after all this time, after all the books read and the lessons supposedly learned, is it all so excruciatingly hard? You briefly, dangerously, wonder what it would be like to leave. The fantasy plays out in a quick, seductive montage. You picture a small, clean apartment that is only yours. You picture new dates, the nervous energy, the thrill of the unknown, the possibility that this time, with this person, it will be easy. But the picture soon curdles, the fantasy dissolving under the harsh light of reality. The horror of starting all over again with someone new feels like a physical weight on your chest. The endless, tedious explanations of your past, your quirks, your history. The monumental effort of building a new shared world from scratch. And then the ache of what you'd lose. You'd miss your partner. You'd miss the specific way they laugh, a sound that can fill a whole room with light. You'd miss the shorthand, the inside jokes that no one else would ever understand. You have a mountain of shared memories, that trip where you got lost, and it became the best part of the vacation, the quiet Sunday mornings, the way they held you through sickness. There used to be, until quite recently, such considerable, tangible hope. You just don't know what to do. The path forward is obscured by fog, and the path back seems to have disappeared. If only there was someone to speak to, a wise, kind persona, benevolent guide from a storybook who could look at the tangled knot of your relationship and know exactly which thread to pull. Someone who could offer a simple, elegant solution that you've somehow missed. But then, a deeper truth surfaces. You realize that more than a solution, what you really, desperately want is something far simpler. You want someone who could understand how hard it is precisely because there isn't a simple solution. You want someone who would sit with you in the dark, listen to the whole messy story, and just say, with absolute sincerity, I know. I know. Sometimes we don't need solutions. Solutions imply that the problem is easy, that we've been foolish for not seeing the answer. What we need is sympathy for our impasses. We need permission to be stuck. We need to know that we're not idiots for having the challenges we have, that other sensible, intelligent, loving people have stood exactly where we're standing now, feeling just as lost. We need to hear that it could almost be okay to have this difficulty forever. That maybe, just maybe, this struggle isn't a sign of failure, but a sign of being human. Maybe it's just one of life's givens. That's when a bracing, strangely comforting pessimistic philosophy is called for. The sort that doesn't offer false hope, but instead offers the profound relief of lowered expectations. It's the voice that puts a steady hand on your shoulder and says, of course you're miserable. You're alive, and to be alive is to feel the full, chaotic spectrum of everything. Of course it's a mess. Welcome to existence. Of course love is a bit impossible. You're a human being, a bundle of contradictions and history, trying to merge your life with another. This isn't the first choice, naturally. Your ego, your inner perfectionist, wanted to sort this out flawlessly. You like to sort things out at work with spreadsheets and project plans. You like to sort out your home life by organizing cupboards and balancing budgets. But this is not a cupboard or an accounting document. This is the wild, untamable territory of the human heart. The number of people who have this area of life properly, permanently sorted out is minuscule, perhaps below 1%. The rest of us, the other 99%, are just muddling through, pretending, hoping, and occasionally for a glorious moment, actually connecting. You have failed here tonight, that's for sure. But you're not exceptionally stupid or broken for that. You're averagely mad, averagely emotionally perturbed. And what you're trying to build a life of shared intimacy, vulnerability, and trust with another complex, something exceptionally, extraordinarily, dementedly hard. Poor you. And then a new thought cuts through the self-pity, a flash of grace in the dark. Poor them. They're in the other room, likely just as awake, just as tormented, replaying their own version of the argument, feeling just as misunderstood. They're also just averagely mad, trying to do something dementedly hard with you. The empathy you crave for yourself, you suddenly, powerfully feel for them. You get out of bed, the cool floor shock that brings you back into your body. You walk quietly across the hall, the floorboards creaking a gentle protest. You hesitate at their door, your hand hovering over the knob, your heart pounding with the fear of rejection. Then you push it open. They are sitting up in bed, a silhouette against the faint city light filtering through the blinds. They look over, and in their eyes, you see not anger, but a weary, bone-deep exhaustion that perfectly mirrors your own. You don't offer a solution. You don't apologize or try to rehash the argument. Words are what got you into this mess. Instead, you just sit on the edge of the bed and take their hand. It's warm, and it feels like an anchor in a storm. In the shared silence, a new understanding passes between you and understanding not of who is right or wrong, but of the shared, impossible, noble struggle. It's a fragile truce, born not of victory or concession, but of mutual surrender to the beautiful, maddening complexity of it all. In this silence, there's only the raw, shared truth. This is hard for me, too. As the first hint of dawn begins to lighten the sky, painting the edges of the window in shades of gray and lavender, you both know that while the problem isn't solved, the isolation is. You are no longer two separate people fighting a battle. You are partners in the same beautiful, difficult work. And for now, in the quiet of new day, that is more than enough. If these kinds of reflections on life, love, and the beautiful mess of being human resonate with you, we invite you to subscribe to our channel. Our goal is to explore these complex truths together, offering a space for thought and comfort. Click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you never miss a new video that might offer a little bit of perspective right when you need it. Thank you for watching and for being part of our community.